comparing you favorably to others in her life on the surface. This might seem like a generic compliment, but it's much deeper than that. When a woman says you're different from other guys, she's expressing that you've exceeded her expectations. This could be because of the way you handle challenges, the way you treat her, or how you carry yourself with confidence and authenticity. It's also a sign that she's been reflecting on your interactions. Women don't typically compare men unless they're thinking about how you fit into their lives. This phrase suggests that she's evaluating you on a deeper level, considering you as someone who could potentially hold a special place in her life. From a psychological perspective, this phrase ties into the concept of selective attention. When someone is interested in you, their brain naturally focuses on the things that make you unique and memorable by pointing out what sets you apart. She's acknowledging that you stand out in a crowded field of potential suitors. When she says you're so different from other guys, don't just brush it off or make a joke out of it. Sign number 5, instead, ignore her compliment and engage with it. You might say, "Thank you, that really means a lot," or even ask what makes you say that. This gives her a chance to elaborate on what she admires about you, deepening the conversation and connection. It also shows that you're confident enough to accept praise graciously, a trait that women find incredibly attractive. The third phrase, what do you think about when a woman begins asking for your opinion on personal or meaningful topics? It's not just casual conversation, it's a strong sign. She values your thoughts and is emotionally invested in your perspective. A phrase like, "What do you think about?" might seem simple, but it's packed with deeper meaning. She might ask about your thoughts on relationships, life goals, or even controversial topics. Why? Because she's trying to gauge your values, priorities, and whether they align with hers. More importantly, she's showing that your opinion matters to her, which is a significant indicator of growing feelings. When a woman asks for your opinion, it's her way of including you in her thought process. This isn't something women typically do with people. They feel indifferent about asking for your input. Shows she respects your judgment and sees you as someone whose perspective she wants to understand. And for instance, if she asks, "What do you," sign number 6, think about marriage, or "How do you feel about traveling abroad?" She's subtly exploring your compatibility. It's her way of testing whether your views align with her long-term goals. This phrase also reflects trust. She's opening the door for meaningful conversations and wants to see how you navigate deeper topics. This level of communication often signifies an emotional connection that goes beyond sur-level interactions. Psychologically, asking for someone's opinion is a form of validation. When a woman is developing feelings for you, she naturally seeks ways to include you in her decision-making process. Even if it's subtle, this shows that she values your perspective and is starting to see you as a partner in her mental and emotional world. This behavior also ties into the concept of rapport building. According to Rearch, mutual respect and understanding are key elements of strong relationships. When she asks, "What do you think?" she's creating opportunities to build that mutual respect. When she asks for your opinion, take it as an opportunity to showcase your emotional depth and thoughtfulness. Avoid giving generic answers or dismissing her questions as unimportant. Instead, offer a well-considered response that reflects your values and personality. For example, if she asks about a sensitive topic, final thoughts, acknowledge her question first by saying something like, "That's a really interesting question," before sharing your perspective. Be open to discussing deeper ideas. And if you're unsure about something, don't be afraid to admit it. Honesty and authenticity go a long way. Also, don't hesitate to turn the question back to her. Ask, "What about you? What do you think?" This shows that you're equally interested in her perspective, which builds reciprocity and mutual respect. By engaging thoughtfully and showing that you value her questions, you can strengthen the connection and show her that you're someone she can trust and confide. And pay attention to this phrase. It's a doorway to deeper emotional intimacy. The fourth phrase, "I feel so comfortable around you." When a woman says, "I feel so comfortable around you," it's one of the clearest signs that she's emotionally invested. Comfort is a cornerstone of any meaningful connection. And when she explicitly states this, it means you've created a safe space where she can be her authentic self. This phrase carries deeper implications than it appears on the surface. When she says she feels comfortable around you, it indicates that
In this video, I'm going to reveal 6 key phrases women use when they're developing feelings for you. These aren't just random words. They're carefully chosen expressions that reflect her growing emotional connection. Once you learn to recognize these signs, you'll be able to tell exactly when a woman's feelings for you are shifting without her needing to say it outright. Now, how can you start recognizing these phrases first? It's important to listen, really listen. Many of these signs come in the form of seemingly casual comments, but they carry much deeper meaning. That's what this video is here for, to help you decode these hidden messages and respond in a way that strengthens the bond between you and her sign number one. Before we dive into the 6 key phrases, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Here we explore the psychology of relationships, communication, and personal growth tools you can use to improve not only your romantic life, but every relationship in your life. One more thing, stick around until the end of this video because I'll share an additional bonus tip that will take your understanding to the next level. By the end of this video, you won't just know what these 6 phrases are, you'll understand why they matter and how to respond to them in a way that makes you unforgettable now. Now, let's get started. The first phrase, I've never told anyone this before, one of the most revealing phrases a woman might say when she's developing feelings for you is, I've never told anyone this before. At first glance, it may seem like a casual statement, but it's much more than that. This phrase is a powerful indicator of trust and vulnerability. When a woman chooses to share something deeply personal with you, she's not just opening up, she's inviting you into her world. Pay close attention to how and when this phrase is used. It often accompanies a story or detail. She feels hesitant about sharing with others. She's testing the waters, hoping you'll respond with empathy and understanding. When a woman's sign number 2 says this, she's signaling 2 key things. First, she feels safe with you. Sharing personal or sensitive information is not something anyone does lightly. It takes courage and sense of emotional security to open up. And the fact that she's doing this with you means she values the connection you've built. Second, she's trying to deepen the bond by sharing something private. She's creating an opportunity for you to reciprocate and build a shared sense of intimacy. It's her way of saying, I trust you enough to show you a part of myself that others don't get to see. This is a significant step in any relationship and a clear sign she's developing feelings for you from a psychological perspective. This phrase taps into a concept known as emotional vulnerability. Research in relationship psychology shows that vulnerability is a key component of building trust and intimacy. When someone shares something personal, they're essentially saying, here's a part of me that I don't show to the world. Can I trust you with it? Women in particular tend to value emotional connections and relationships. Sharing personal stories is a way to test if you're someone who can handle deeper conversations and provide a safe emotional space. It's also, sign number 3, a subtle way of gauging your interest. Do you care enough to listen and engage with what she's sharing? So, how should you respond when a woman says, I've never told anyone this before? First, give her your full attention, put your phone away, make eye contact, and show her that you're genuinely listening. Next, validate her feelings. You can say something like, that's really brave of you to share, or I'm honored you trust me with that. If appropriate, share something personal in return. This doesn't mean you have to match her level of vulnerability right away, but showing that you're willing to open up too will deepen the connection and finally follow up. But later, if she shared something significant, bring it up in a future conversation to show that you remembered and cared. Remember, when a woman says, I've never told anyone this before, it's not just a phrase, it's a window into her emotions. It's a sign that she's developing feelings for you and wants to build a deeper connection. Recognizing and responding to this phrase with care can strengthen your bond and take your relationship to the next level. The second phrase, you're so different from other guys. When a woman says you're so different from other guys, it's not just a compliment, it's a sign she's paying attention to the unique qualities that set you apart. At its core, this phrase reflects admiration and curiosity. She's noticed something special about you, and sign number 4, wants you to know it. This phrase often comes up in moments when you've demonstrated a trait or behavior that stands out. Maybe it's your kindness, your intellect, or your sense of humor, whatever it is. She's signaling that you've made an impression and that
She's lowered her guard in the early stages of attraction. People often present an idealized version of themselves. However, when she feels truly at ease, she's willing to let go of that facade and show you her genuine personality. It also signals emotional safety. Comfort arises when she trusts that you won't judge her, dismiss her feelings, or betray her trust. This is a major milestone in any relationship because it's only when a woman feels secure that she allows herself to form a deeper connection. This phrase reflects compatibility. Comfort isn't just about safety, it's also about alignment. It means your personality's communication, styles, and values resonate with her on a fundamental level. This phrase also relates to the concept of emotional contagion. Positive interactions like making her laugh or showing empathy create an emotional resonance that makes her feel good when she's around you over time. This sense of comfort deepens as she associates your presence with positive emotions. Another psychological element at play is the concept of authenticity. Women value partners who are genuine and consistent. If your actions, words, and demeanor create a stable and welcoming atmosphere, she'll naturally feel more comfortable around you and be more likely to open up emotionally. When a woman says, "I feel so comfortable around you," acknowledge it with appreciation. A simple response like that means a lot to me, or "I'm glad you feel that way," reinforces her feelings. When a woman says, "I feel so comfortable around you," it's a powerful indicator of trust and emotional connection. This isn't just about physical proximity. It's about how you make her feel emotionally and mentally safe. Recognizing and nurturing this comfort can lead to a deeper, more meaningful relationship. The fifth phrase "I was thinking about you," when a woman says "I was thinking about you," it's more than just a casual remark, it's a window into her growing feelings. This phrase shows that you've occupied her mind in a meaningful way, even when you're not around, whether she's bringing up something that reminded her of you or simply letting you know that you crossed her thoughts. This statement reveals that she values your presence in the connection you share. It's a clear sign that you're becoming a significant part of her emotional world. This phrase is a subtle yet powerful indicator of emotional attachment. When someone is developing feelings, they naturally start to think about the person more frequently. By telling you she's been thinking about you, she's letting you know that you hold a special place in her thoughts even during her busy moments. This isn't something women casually say unless they feel a connection. It's often a way of testing the waters, seeing how you respond, engaging whether the feelings are mutual. She might share a memory or mention something she saw that reminded her of you as a way of creating a deeper bond at its core. This phrase signifies longing and emotional resonance. She's inviting you into her inner world and subtly expressing that you're becoming a meaningful presence in her life psychologically. This phrase ties into the concept of emotional anchoring. When a person begins to associate positive feelings and experiences with you, their mind naturally starts to dwell on those moments. This is why she finds herself thinking about you and feels compelled to share it. Additionally, this phrase can stem from the psychological need for reciprocity sharing. That she's been thinking about you often prompts a similar response, which strengthens the bond between you. It's her way of saying, "You matter to me," while also hoping to hear that she matters to you too. When she says, "I was thinking about you," don't downplay it or brush it off. Instead, acknowledge it with warmth and curiosity. Respond with something like, "That's really sweet. What made you think of me?" Or, "I'm flattered. What were you thinking about?" This creates an opportunity to deepen the conversation and show that you appreciate her gesture. Share something meaningful in return. Like, I've been thinking about you too," if it's genuine, or bring up a memory you both share. And the final phrase, "I've never told anyone this before." When a woman says, "I've never told anyone this before," she's sharing something that holds immense significance. This is a sign of trust, vulnerability, and emotional intimacy. She's revealing a part of herself that she doesn't easily share with others, and she's choosing you to be her confidant. This phrase typically arises in moments of deep conversation or when the bond between you has reached a level of mutual trust. It's her way of saying, "You're special to me, and I feel safe opening up to you." Recognizing the importance of this moment can strengthen your connection and take your relationship to the next level. This phrase is a declaration of emotional trust. When a woman says, "I've never told anyone this before," she's stepping into a vulnerable space, letting her guard down.
own and allowing you to see a side of her that she typically keeps hidden. This phrase also signifies emotional exclusivity by revealing something private. She's setting you apart from others in her life. It's her way of deepening the bond and testing whether you're someone who can handle her vulnerability with care and respect. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful connection. And when she shares this level of intimacy, it's a clear sign that her feelings for you are growing stronger. This phrase aligns with the psychological concept of vulnerability fostering closeness. Research shows that when people share personal and meaningful experiences, it creates a sense of intimacy and strengthens the bond between them. When she says, "I've never told anyone this before," she's testing your ability to handle her emotional open. If you respond with empathy and understanding, it reassures her that you're someone she can rely on emotionally. This is particularly important because women are often cautious about sharing vulnerable aspects of themselves, fearing judgment or rejection. When she says, "I've never told anyone this before," the most important thing you can do is listen attentively, resist the urge to interrupt or shift the focus to yourself. Instead, respond with empathy by saying something like, "Thank you for trusting me with this." It means a lot. Validate her feelings by acknowledging the significance of what she shared. For example, you could say, "That sounds like it was really difficult," or, "I admire your courage for sharing that with me." Avoid giving unsolicited advice unless she explicitly asks for it. Sometimes she just needs to feel heard and understood. If you feel comfortable, consider reciprocating by sharing something meaningful about yourself. This creates a mutual exchange of trust and vulnerability, further solidifying your bond. When a woman says, "I've never told anyone this before," she's offering you a rare and precious glimpse into her inner world. Responding with empathy and understanding not only strengthens the trust between you, but also deepens the emotional connection. Moments like these are the foundation of meaningful and lasting relationships. Psychologically, women's indirect communication is closely tied to the concepts of trust, emotional safety, and vulnerability in a relationship. Trust is foundational to emotional intimacy. Women often feel the need to build trust gradually before they expose their true feelings. Subtle expressions give them the opportunity to communicate their emotions without overwhelming the other person or exposing too much too soon. Understanding the psychology behind women's subtle expressions of emotion is crucial for building meaningful connections. By recognizing the underlying trust, emotional safety, and vulnerability at play, you can respond with greater empathy and awareness. This not only enhances your communication, but also deepens the bond between you and the woman you're connecting with. Remember, her indirect communication is often a signal of deeper emotions that are developing. So, paying attention to these subtle signs can offer you invaluable insight into her feelings. Now, we must know that responding to these phrases requires thoughtfulness, empathy, and authenticity. The key is to validate her emotions and show that you truly appreciate the vulnerability and trust she's placing in you. Here are a few tips in responding. Acknowledge her vulnerability when she shares something personal or emotional, such as saying, "I've never told anyone this before." It's important to acknowledge her vulnerability. A response like, "I really appreciate you trusting me with that," or, "Thank you for sharing that with me." It means a lot, helps her feel seen and heard. This reinforces the emotional safety that she's seeking. Respond with empathy. If she expresses emotions like affection or thoughts about you, such as, "I was thinking about you," respond with empathy by saying something like, "I'm flattered that you were thinking about me," or, "I was thinking about you too." Your response should reflect your emotional resonance with her feelings, showing that you value the connection. Encourage deeper conversation when she opens up. Encourage deeper discussion by asking open ended questions. For instance, "What made you think of that?" or, "Tell me more about that." This keeps the conversation flowing and deepens the emotional bond. Let her guide the pace of the conversation, but show genuine interest in what she's sharing. Share your own feelings. Reciprocity and emotional expression can strengthen the connection. If you feel comfortable, share a personal experience or thought of your own in response. For example, if she says, "I was thinking about you," you can reply, "I've been thinking about you a lot too." This keeps the exchange balanced and authentic. It's equally important to be aware of common mistakes that could harm the connection. Here are some things to avoid. Avoid being dismissive. If she
Share something personal or vulnerable, and you brush it off. It could undermine the trust she's trying to build. For example, responding with, "Oh, that's nice," or dismissing her comment with humor can make her feel invalidated. Always take her words seriously and show respect for her openness. Don't get defensive if she shares something that makes you feel uncomfortable, like admitting a vulnerability or expressing deep affection. Don't become defensive or avoid the conversation. Responses like, "Why are you saying that?" or "Why do you care so much?" can create emotional distance. Instead, be open and acknowledge her feelings. Avoid overloading her with responses. If she shares something deep, avoid overwhelming her with your own thoughts or emotions all at once. Give her space to express herself fully before responding. Bombarding her with too much information can derail the flow of the conversation and make her feel unheard. Responding thoughtfully to the phrases women use. When developing feelings for you is an opportunity to build a stronger emotional connection by acknowledging her feelings, avoiding common mistakes, and building rapport based on her cues. You can create a deeper bond. Being empathetic and authentic in your responses helps her feel seen, valued, and emotionally secure, laying the foundation for a strong, last relationship. Now that you have a deeper understanding of these subtle phrases and their emotional significance, it's time to put this knowledge into action. Pay attention to the conversations you have with women, not just for the words they say, but for the emotional tone and context behind them. Are you hearing any of these phrases or her actions and body language aligning with the words? Recognizing these signs will help you understand her feeling in and navigate the stages of emotional connection with greater awareness. But remember, don't rush or push for answers. Allow the relationship to develop. Naturally stay present in the moment and be receptive to her cues. By observing these subtle signs, you'll become more attuned to her emotions and be better equipped to respond with empathy, understanding, and authenticity. This is how deeper connections are formed, built on mutual trust, respect, and emotional alignment. So start paying attention. Those small phrases might be saying more than you think. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who could benefit. Stay tuned for more insights into relationships and human psychology. I am Head King. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.